Meow, everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Hey everybody, Cantonese Cat here. Monthly chart of Coinbase. Each candle represents 1 month. Ticker symbol COIN. About a week or two ago, I was telling you that I think price would most likely end up getting stuck in this range, probably for at least another month or two before breaking out to higher levels. I think it's probably going to go a lot higher, to be completely honest with you. If you ask me to give you some crazy price targets, and I was drawing this really ever since price was in like the 50s. I haven't really wavered. If you look back at some of my posts I was making when Coinbase was being legally inquired by the SEC right around May or June or so, I was starting to see this inverse head and shoulder pattern, just like Market Maestro was seeing that at the time. We're both seeing that. We didn't know that we're both seeing it at the time, but we're both seeing it at the time. We thought this pattern was actually quite bullish, even though SEC was basically suing Coinbase and everybody was freaking out. The price didn't really reflect though. There's a divergence in terms of the news and the price and the trend. Interesting, isn't it? Next thing you know, it just kept on forming these higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher low, higher high. Right now we're forming a higher high. We're looking for a high low. There's a potential that it's since it entered this pretty thick volume shelf over here, it can be served as both support and resistance. Right now it looks like it's serving as a little bit of resistance, and this also coincidentally is at the very, very important golden ratio, which is 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level. Got rejected right there. Right now it's just closing right below it this month. There's a potential we might end up getting a red candle. Now, how far the red candle is going to go, is it going to go below this volume shelf? Is always a possibility. But I can also see potentially it just breaks all the way down to maybe like 230. Find support right around here and just kind of bounce for a month or two before its bullish continuation. If you ask me, and I posted this months and months, like a year ago, closer to a year ago, I was posting these crazy Fibonacci extension level as potential target for Coinbase. I was posting that it could potentially go up to four figures, and everybody thought it was crazy. Everybody still probably thinks I'm crazy, but I mean, price did go from $31 all the way up to 270. So why wouldn't it go up to four digits? I don't know. Anyway, that's besides the point. The point here is that if you're trying to find out some expectation in terms of what the price is going to do, it's hitting pretty critical resistance right here, 0.618 Fibonacci level, and also a pretty important volume shelf resistance level right here. I do think once it breaks above that, you might have a little bit more resistance right around here at the 340s to 350s, somewhere around here, and then after that, I think sky is probably the limit. But right now you're hitting this pretty big resistance level here, and price to spend about half a year around this range over here. So there's going to be a lot of people who end up buying in here, lost a bunch of money, unrealized gain, waiting for the price to get back up here to sell. So you might end up having a bunch of supply up here too. And that's also part of the reason as to why I think that you might end up bouncing here for a little bit, both in terms of the volume shelf, in terms of Fibonacci sequence. And I'm going to show you some other things to make me, tell you why I think that would be a potential case. First of all, I can pull up some of the other indicators here. If you just pull up the Bollinger Band, you can see that even though the Bollinger Band is fully extended, it looks like you've got a very, very powerful bull trend that's going to keep going up, probably to the four digits, potentially. There's no guarantee. This is not financial advice. I don't predict the future. I just look at trend, and I tell you what could potentially happen. Right now, the trend has just turned bullish just a few months ago. The 20-month moving average is pointing up. Price is staying along the upper Bollinger Band. It's expanding on the upper Bollinger Band and the lower Bollinger Band, and riding along with upper Bollinger Band, just keep on going up. This is a very, very bullish look to it. And if anything, I think the 20-month moving average is going to continue to push up the price. But there is one thing. The one thing is that the candle for this month is way above the upper Bollinger Band. It closed at on the month of March. It closed at 265, when the upper Bollinger Band is at 207. It closes about 25% above the upper Bollinger Band. Usually an upper Bollinger Band serves a little bit of a magnet. If you close above it, price is going to probably want to drag it down to get closer back into the upper Bollinger Band. And as the upper Bollinger Band expands, that's when you have less of this resistance, and you're allowing the price to kind of go up together with the Bollinger Band expansion, right? But right now, we still don't have that at the early innings of the Bollinger Band expansion. Right now, it's just a little bit, a little bit too far. So that's why I think the price might end up going sideways here for maybe like a month or two before you wait for bullish band to continue to expand, before bullish continuation to happen. And again, you also still have another resistance up here around the 340s, 350s. Although this resistance is going to be a lot less than the current resistance right here. And if Bollinger Band continue to expand, it could potentially pass this 340, 350 resistance like Swiss cheese and just keep going up to much higher levels and test all-time highs and beyond. Now, the problem short term is I think it is a little bit overextended, which is understandable. That's what a bull trend does. It challenges, expands the Bollinger Band, and then pulls back, and then it does that over and over again until the trend is exhausted. Another reason why I think that is a little bit overextended is this. Generally, there are two lines here that I'm showing you. One is the red line here. This is the Tenkan. There's another line over here, which is the Kijun. These lines come from Ichimoku cloud analysis. Now, right now you still don't have a cloud because price has only begun in April 2021. There's not enough candles for you to synthesize a cloud as a indicator. But you can see some part of the cloud is starting to form around here, although you don't yet have a cloud yet. So what you're seeing here is this. The Tenkan, in general, in a bear market goes down, in a bull market goes up, just like any moving averages, except this is how do you say that? This is a period, it's a moving period average. I guess I should say that. If you're interested in looking at the Ichimoku cloud analysis, how these things get calculated, I want to potentially make a video to talk a little bit more about Ichimoku cloud, but the Tenkan here during a bear market goes down. It can serve as resistance, and serve as resistance right here. And guess what? It flipped it as support. Support. Maybe have a false breakdown here. Support. Right now is pushing price up a lot higher. But the problem is price is way further extended away from the Tenkan here. There's a potential price could go sideways a little bit, wait for the Tenkan to come catch up and use it as a board to bounce up to higher levels. Tenkan right now is 176. Again, so far the month closed down at 265. So a little bit overextended here. It's not unforeseen for it to kind of go sideways or even correct a little bit down to like the 220s, 230s. Wait for some of the indicators to catch up before going up higher. Regardless of what it does in the short term, I don't think this has exhausted at all. The reason why I say that is because I'm not seeing any bearish divergence here based on RSI on the monthly chart. It looks like it's just been going up and it's not even overbought yet. So far the monthly is around like 65 on the RSI, which is still pretty far from it being overbought. I think when the price gets overbought, price could have been up here in the in like getting close to like 1,000, which is kind of crazy to think about actually, because the price had gone from like the 30s all the way up to close to like 300 now. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the monthly chart. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the weekly chart and see kind of what we're seeing, what we're talking about here. Higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Where's the higher low? Maybe down here. Looks like it could be. If you look at the bull market support band, you can see that it's slowly coming up here in the 170s. By the time it does come back and correct it, maybe the bull market support band would be upsloped enough to kind of catch it, and it might use it to kind of as a springboard to bounce up further, although it doesn't have to. Just like over here, it used it a little bit as a resistance, but it never really didn't necessarily touch it, and it didn't really touch it for like a few months, and price just kind of plummeted here. you don't really need to use it as resistance to keep on having resistance to push price down. Although it did try backtest here as resistance and got rejected and finally flipped over as support. But once again, we might be at a juncture kind of around here, like here. We might be at a juncture of a little bit of a parabolic upswing that doesn't even have to necessarily touch the bull market support band. Would I expect something like this to happen over here? Probably not. I think the probability is lower. The reason why I say that is because it is inside this pretty important volume shelf over here. Whereas at that time, there really isn't any like volume down here because this is price discovery mode going downwards, and it was extremely brutal. But here, you're starting to have a little bit of price history here. It has a lot of these resistance that it needs to kind of work through. It's okay. I don't think it's that big of a deal. You just gotta do what I got to do. If you look over at the weekly volume, you can see that overall, as price got down here, you can see that the selling volume has really decreased. And once it starts from here going up, you can see that the buying volume is increasing. Until you get to this point, you have a huge spike down to backtest the bull market support band, but the volume is actually quite low. Like the volume is like exhausted towards the end of this backtest over here of this inverted head and shoulder pattern with a backtest. The volume is plummeted. I thought this was done. I thought it was just going to bounce up. No, it's been another 2 or 3 months going sideways. Extremely brutal over here before it bounces up. That's okay. I mean, I wasn't selling or anything. I was just going to keep it. But now you can see that the buying volume has gone way up. Here you do have a little bit of higher volume selling, but the sell volume did get exhausted over here. The price on this leg right here has been up. And even if it's going for a little bit of correction, it looks like the volume is going to go pretty down. So this overall is still a very, very nice bull trend. And the volume is basically telling you that, yeah, I think they want to buy. There's a lot more buy pressure than sell pressure. What happens when it happens? Price goes up. Why isn't price going up yet? Because there's supply right here that needs to eat through before it can go up. Because there's resistance, which happens, which is no big deal. Also pull up the other weekly moving averages here, 50, 100. 100 also started to curl up as well. They're all stacked to the bull side. You got a very, very powerful weekly bull trend here that really honestly just started back in January. This is potentially still a pretty early weekly bull trend, and it can go up for quite some time. If you look at the weekly Ichimoku cloud analysis, I'm not really telling you too much here. You can see the prices broke above the cloud. Didn't even bother to do a back test before going up parabolically. Right now, price just kind of going sideways here. I think it probably might go back down to the bottom of the range here, maybe a little bit lower. Wait for these Tenkan and Kijun to kind of catch up and use them to potentially serve as support before price bounces up higher. I think that's probably the most likely scenario of what happens, although nobody really knows for sure. But that's probably what's going to happen. Do a little bit of zoom in. This weak candle is it's a little bit weak. You see a little bit of a stone right here. We generally think of this as a bearish pattern in terms of seeing a little bit of like a inverted hammer here as a top. So there's a potential for it to go down further. I don't think that's a weekly gap there, but there's a potential for it to go down further, maybe even drop down below, the 220s, bounce around here a little bit before bullish continuation. Those are my suspicion. So if you are interested in getting into coin, there is probably still some potential entry levels right around here. Although I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what I see. I'm just telling you what the trend is. And I'm also telling you a little bit about in terms of what I'm seeing, in terms of the trend, where it is going right now, and what I expect it to do based on Fibonacci levels. You are starting to get a little bit of exhaustion here, aren't you? This is a bearish divergence. Because of this bearish divergence, I expect it to go down a little bit. How far does it go down? Not necessarily that far. 220 is reasonable. It could also go all the way back down to 180 and back test this level here too. Does it have to do that? No. Could it? Sure. Could be more buying opportunities though if it gets to the 180s. If you want to do that, that would just be a higher low before going up again. Anyway, weekly is exhausting a little bit. But price, I don't want you to see a bearish divergence and get scared, because price could go up all the way to like 1,000 while getting resistance here on the RSI trend line. Like you keep on having this uptrend right here, going all the way up to like 1,000 potentially, and RSI could still continue to reset and continue to put up a bearish divergence. I mean, honestly, at some point it would get exhausted, it would plummet, and that's when price plummets. But I'm not really that scared by this bearish divergence, although it is telling you that, yeah, I do see that things probably overextended here a little bit. Needs to cool down. You know what could be a very, very extremely bullish thing? Price only cools down a little bit. RSI resets significantly. Again, price cools down just a little bit, but RSI resets significantly. And the next thing you know, if it breaks above this RSI trend line over here, that would be extremely bullish. We can go up to the upside pretty far. Again, these are just what I see. These are just opinions. These are just guesses. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing here on the trend. Ultimately, what you want to do is up to you. I do have a small position in coin. I haven't bought for a while. I'm just going to keep holding it. I'm going to let it see what happens over the next 12 to 18 months. See if it gets to some of the crazy Fibonacci levels that I've been looking at. Crazy Fibonacci levels. 4 digits. We'll see. Anyway, thank you for listening. Have a good one. Bye.